So in this session, we will discuss some basics about cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is the protection of internet connected systems. Okay. It includes hardware, software, and data from cyber attackers. So cybersecurity is the protection of internet connected systems like hardware, software, and data, and it protects from the cyber attackers. It is primarily about people, process, and technologies working together to encompass the full range of threat reduction, vulnerability reduction, deterrence, international engagement, and recovery policies and activities, including computer network operations, information assurance, law enforcement, and others. So it's about the people, process, and technologies working together to encompass the full range of cybersecurity. It is the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from attack. Then the data from attack, theft, damage, compromising, or unauthorized access. Therefore, you can also call this cybersecurity as information technology security. So cyber attack is now an international concern. It has given many concerns that could endanger the global economy. As the volume of cyber attacks grows, companies and organizations, especially those that deal with information related to national security, health, or financial records, need to take steps to protect their sensitive business and personal information. So since it is an international concern, the global economy in the sense, and any compromise in the information technology industry will be a huge global loss. So it need to take steps to protect their sensitive business and personal information. This cybersecurity tutorial provides some basic and advanced concepts of cybersecurity technology. It will cover the most popular concepts of cybersecurity, such as what is it, then what are the goals of cybersecurity, types of cyber attacks, types of cyber attackers, then policies, digital signature, cybersecurity tools, security risk analysis, challenges, etc. So you can expect all these concepts in this tutorial course. And it is a basic tutorial where we can quickly understand the topics discussed if we have a basic understanding of how a firm or an organization handles computer security. It is also helpful to have some prior experience with computer updates, firewalls, antivirus, and other security measures. So this tutorial will help the beginners and even the professionals. So now, what is cybersecurity? So it's the technique of protecting internet connected systems. Okay, the internet connected systems is very important. It's a technique of protecting the internet connected systems such as computers, servers, mobile devices, electronic systems, networks, and data from malicious attacks. And we can divide cybersecurity into two parts, like cyber and security. The word cyber refers to technology that includes systems, networks, programs, and data. And security is concerned with the protection of systems, networks, applications, and information. In some cases, it is also called electronic information security or information technology security, since all the data will be in the electronic form. So this can also be called as electronic information security. So some standard definitions of cybersecurity you can see. Cybersecurity is the body of technologies, process, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from attack, theft, damage, modification, or unauthorized access. So this is one of the standard definitions of cybersecurity. Or cybersecurity is a set of principles and practices designed to protect our computing resources and online information against threats. So what are the types of cybersecurity? So since it's a very big domain, big field in computers, there are different types of cybersecurity because cyber means the connected devices. So if it is connected devices, then we should understand what domains come inside the cybersecurity. So, so every organization's assets are the combinations of a variety of different systems. These systems have a strong cybersecurity posture that requires coordinated efforts across all of its systems. Therefore, we can categorize cybersecurity into the subdomains. The first one is the network security. Network security involves implementing the hardware and software to secure a computer network from the unauthorized access, intruders, attacks, disruption, and misuse. This security helps an organization to protect its assets against external and internal threats. So it involves implementing the hardware and software to secure a computer network from unauthorized access or misuse. The second is the application security. So if you're from technical background, you will have the basic knowledge about what is a network, what is an application, like that. So application security involves protecting the software from unwanted threats. Okay, the application need not be necessarily a software. It can be also a device. Okay, so it involves protecting software and devices from unwanted threats. This protection can be done by constantly updating the apps to ensure they are secure from threats. Successful security begins in the design stage, writing source code, validation, threat modeling, etc., before a program or device is deployed. So if you want a successful security, you have to do it in the design stage itself by writing some secure code, then validation, threat modeling, etc., before you actually deploy the product or the device. So throughout the development life cycle of the application, you need to focus on the security measures also. Then the third one is information or data security. This involves implementing a strong data storage mechanism to maintain the integrity and privacy of data, both in storage and in transit. Then we have identity management. The identity management deals with the procedure for determining the level of access that each individual has within an organization. So the identity management is also very important. Every employee belong to different hierarchy. So they should be limited with the access of the organization information. So this identity management deals with the procedure for determining the level of access that each individual has within an organization. Then operational security. Operational security involves processing and making decisions on handling and securing data assets. So these things come under operational security, the process of making decisions on handling and securing the data assets. Then mobile security. Mobile security involves securing the organizational and personal data stored on mobile devices such as cell phones, computers, tablets, and other similar devices against various malicious threats. So since organizations applications can be installed in mobile phones also, and many organizations provide work from home facility for the employees, it's very important to secure the data and the devices. The mobile phones or the laptops will have a lot of confidential data about the organization and also the organization projects. So it has to be secure. So these threats are unauthorized access, device loss, or theft, then malware, etc. So many times we get some junk mails, some unauthorized mails with some thought of genuine souls. So if we go after the mail and follow the steps, whatever is mentioned in the mail, we sometimes may compromise the entire device or some applications inside the device. So mobile security is very important these days. Then the next one is cloud security. Cloud security involves protecting the information stored in the digital environment or cloud architectures of the organization. It uses various cloud service providers such as AWS, Azure, Google, etc. to ensure security against multiple threats. So cloud security protects the information stored in the digital environments or cloud architectures. So nowadays, every organization has a cloud architecture. They store their applications, data, infrastructure, everything over the cloud. So cloud security is very, very important. Then disaster recovery. And business continuity planning. So the disaster recovery and business continuity planning deals with the process, monitoring, alerts, and plans to how an organization responds when any malicious activity is causing the loss of operations or data. The policies dictate resuming the lost operations after any disaster happens to the same operating capacity as before the event. Then user education. The user education deals with the process, monitoring, alerts, and plans to how an organization responds when any malicious activity is causing the loss of operations or data. The policies dictate resuming the lost operations after the disaster happens. So the user education has to be a prime focus. The employees needs to be trained, and whenever there is a training given by the organization to its employees, even the training should be preserved, or it should be limited only to the organization. The outside people should not have the access to the materials of the training. So these things come under user identity or user education. So next is, why is cybersecurity important? So a very important question, and a question which anyone can answer. So today we live in a digital world where all operations, all aspects of our lives depend on the network. The internet and the computer network plays a very, very important role in everybody's life today. So life depend on the network, computers, and other electronic devices and software applications. All the critical infrastructure such as banking system, healthcare, financial institution, governments, and manufacturing industries use devices connected to the internet as a core part of their operations. Some of their information, such as intellectual property, financial data, and personal data, can be very sensitive for unauthorized access or exposure that could have negative consequences and finally lead to a huge financial, operational, and institutional losses. So this information gives intruders and threat actors to infiltrate them for financial gain, extortion, political or social motives, or just vandalism. So cyber attack is now an international concern that hacks the system and other security attacks. And these could endanger the global economy. Therefore, it is essential to have an excellent cybersecurity strategy to protect sensitive information from high-profile security breaches. And furthermore, as the volume of cyber attacks grows, companies and organizations, especially those that deal with information related to national security, health, or financial records, need to use strong cybersecurity measures and process to protect their sensitive business and personal information. So today the world is moving towards paperless infrastructure. Every information, every data, every application is stored in the computers. So cyber attack should be treated as a international concern. Cyber security will hack the system and other security attacks could endanger the global economy. And it is essential to have an excellent cyber security strategy to protect the sensitive information from high profile security breaches. And volume of cyber attacks grows, companies and organizations need to use strong cybersecurity measures and process to secure their sensitive business and personal information. So what are the goals of cybersecurity? So cybersecurity's main objective is to ensure the data protection. So everything that is stored inside a computer can be generally called as data. So the cybersecurity's main objective is to ensure the data protection. The security community provides a triangle of three related principles to protect the data from cyber attacks. This principle is called CIA Triad. The CIA model is designed to guide policies for an organization's information security infrastructure. When any security breaches are found, one or more of these principles have been violated. So then, what is the CIA? The CIA stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So these are very, very sensitive terms and important terms in cybersecurity. It is actually a security model that helps people to think about various parts of IT security. So let's discuss these three terms, CIA, in detail. So the first one is the confidentiality. So it's a very common word, confidentiality. We use it many times in various aspects. So confidentiality is equivalent to privacy that avoids unauthorized access of information. It involves ensuring the data is accessible by those who are allowed to use it and blocking access to others. It prevents essential information from reaching the wrong people. Data encryption is an excellent example of ensuring security. So confidentiality means privacy, and that should not be compromised or that should not be leaked with anyone. And it avoids unauthorized access of information. So it involves ensuring the data is accessible to only the genuine end users and the authorized and authenticated users. And data encryption is an excellent example of ensuring the confidentiality so that the end users can only decrypt the encrypted data. Then integrity. The integrity is a principle that ensures the data is authentic, accurate, and safeguarded from the unauthorized modification by threat actors or accidental user modification. If any modifications occur, certain measures should be taken to protect the sensitive data from corruption or loss and recover the data faster from such an event. In addition, it indicates to make the source of information genuine. So integrity is expecting that the same data that was sent from the source is reaching the destination without any compromise. So it ensures that the data is authentic, accurate, and safeguarded from the unauthorized access or unauthorized modification by threat actors or accidental user modification. Then the availability. Availability makes the information to be available and useful for its authorized people always. It ensures that these access are not hindered by system malfunction or cyber attacks. So if the data is not available to the genuine users, it may lead to some negative consequences. So the users who are genuine have the right to access the data and should be able to access the data anytime they wish. So it is also one of the main principles in the CIA. So these are the three terms: confidentiality, integrity, and availability in cybersecurity. So next we will see what are the types of cybersecurity attacks. So a threat in cybersecurity is a malicious activity by an individual or organization to corrupt or steal the data or gain access to a network or disrupt the digital life in general. So we see around our we see around us that so many cyber threats happen, so many accounts get hacked by the people, so many government websites get hacked, right? So many malicious mails will be triggered from an email ID. So all these are the cyber threats. The cyber community defines the threats in different terms, and each term has a different meaning. So the types of cybersecurity attacks can be a malware. So malware means malicious software, which is the most common cyber attacking tool. It is used by the cyber criminal or hacker to disrupt or damage a legitimate user's system. So there are different types of malwares created by the hacker. So the types of malware are virus, which is very commonly heard, then spyware, then trojans, ransomware, worms, adware, botnets. Okay, so these are the different types of malwares. So virus is a malicious piece of code that spreads from one device to another. It can clean the files and spreads throughout a computer system, infecting the files. It will steal the information or it will damage the device. So the protection from virus is a very fundamental task. Once the computer encounters with a virus, the virus will harm your device to a greater extent. All the files and folders will be corrupted, and it makes it difficult to open the applications, and it spreads throughout the device. And the second one is spyware. Spyware is a software that secretly records information about user activities on their systems. So you can split the spyware into two terms, right? The spy and the ware. So spy is someone who monitors us secretly. So spyware is a software that secretly records information about the user activities on their system. So for example, spyware could capture the credit card details that can be used by the cyber criminals for unauthorized shopping, money withdrawals, etc. Then Trojans. Trojans is a type of malware or code that appears as legitimate software or file to fool the people into downloading and running or executing. The primary purpose of Trojans is to corrupt or steal the data from our device or do some other harmful activities on our network. So Trojan is a type of malware or code that appears as a legitimate application and fool us to download and run it. Then ransomware. It's a piece of software that encrypts a user's files and data on a device, rendering them unusable or erasing. Then a monetary ransom is demanded by the malicious actors for decryption. So again, you can guess what is the actual definition of ransomware. So ransom is demanding of money or assets by the attackers. So here they find some access to the system and they manage to delete those applications which are very important. Then they demand a monetary ransom for decryption. Okay, so this is the meaning of ransomware. Then worms. Worms is a piece of software that spreads copies of itself from device to device without human interaction. It does not require them to attach themselves to any program to steal or damage the data. Then the adware. Adware is an advertising software. So the term ad means advertisement. So adware is an advertising software used to spread malware and display advertisements on our device. It is an unwanted program that is installed without the user's permission. The main objective of this program is to generate revenue for its developer by showing the ads on their browser. So we see so many adwares. They're very common. We have observed so many, but we may not be identifying them. So they will say that the people are earning so much money by doing this work, that work from home, apply to work from home jobs. So all these can be adwares, right? So when you visit the websites by clicking on the adware, it may harm your system. It will get installed without the user's permission. The main objective is to generate revenue for its developer by showing the ads on their browser. Then finally, botnets. Botnet is a collection of internet connected malware infected devices that allow cyber criminals to control them. It enables cyber criminals to get credentials, leaks, unauthorized access, and data theft without the user's permission. So botnet is a collection of internet-connected malware-infected devices that allow cybercriminals to control them. It enables cybercriminals to get credentials leaks, unauthorized access, and data theft without the user's permission. So all these are the components of malware. So basically all these are softwares because they have to act on the computers. So, but they are bad softwares. So this was the first type of cyber attack, the malware. The second type is phishing. Phishing is a type of cybercrime in which a sender seems to come from a genuine organization or friends and co-workers. They contact a target via email, phone, or text message with a link to persuade them to click on that link. This link will redirect to fraudulent websites to provide sensitive data such as personal information, banking and credit card information, social security numbers, usernames, and passwords. So clicking on the link will also install malware on the target devices that allow the hackers to control devices remotely. So there are many softwares to control the devices remotely, but they are also used to harm the systems. So these phishing will act as a genuine customers from some genuine organizations, and they persuade you to click on the link and go to the website, and thereby you will expose your sensitive information. Even your mobile number will reveal a lot of information about you, like your bank accounts, your credit card information, and your social security numbers and others, because we link our mobile number to every application. So phishing is a very common and dangerous cyber attack. Then the next one is man in the middle attack. The man in the middle attack is a type of cyber attack in which a cyber criminal intercepts a conversation or data transfer between two individuals. Once the cyber criminal places themselves in the middle of a two-party communication, they may seem genuine participants and can get sensitive information and return different responses. The main objective of this type of attack is to gain access to our business or customer data. For example, a cyber criminal could intercept data passing between the target device and the network on an unprotected Wi-Fi network. So man in the middle attack is another component of another type of cyber attack. So it's intercepting a conversation or data transfer between two individuals. So when you ask for OTP, the cyber criminals will redirect the OTP to themselves so that they act as the middleman, middle in the man. Then they use that OTP to gain access and steal some information. So once the cyber criminal places himself in the middle of a two-party communication, they look like genuine participants and can get sensitive information and return different responses. So many times we get a call to expose our OTP or to expose our PIN number. So many organizations where we have the membership, they often alert their customers to not believe such calls or messages. Then the next type is distributed denial of service. So it's also called DDoS. It is a type of cyber threat or malicious attempt where cyber criminal disrupts targeted servers, services, or networks regular traffic by fulfilling legitimate requests to the target or its surrounding infrastructure with internet traffic. Here, the requests come from several IP addresses that can make the system unusable, overload their servers, slowing down significantly or temporarily taking them offline, or preventing an organization from carrying out its vital functions. So, it's a type of cyber attack where cyber criminals disrupt targeted servers, services, or networks regular traffic by fulfilling legitimate requests to the target or its surrounding infrastructure with internet traffic. The next type is brute force. A brute force attack is cryptographic hack that uses a trial and error method to guess all possible combinations until the correct information is discovered. So it's using the brute force technique till you are successful. So it's a form of attack. It's a cryptographic hack that uses a trial and error method to guess all possible combinations until the correct information is discovered. Cyber criminals usually use this attack to obtain personal information about targeted passwords, login information, encryption keys, and personal identification numbers. So that's why we need to set the password so that it becomes very strong and very difficult for the hackers to guess it. So all these things come under the brute force technique. Then the next one is SQL injection. SQL injection is a common attack that occurs when cyber criminals use malicious SQL scripts for backend database manipulation to access sensitive information. Once the attack is successful, the malicious actor can view, change, or delete sensitive company data, user lists, or private customer details stored in the SQL database. So basically, the hackers will be well versed with the SQL queries, and they use some malicious SQL scripts for backend database manipulation to access sensitive information. So all the organizations will have their own database for their employees and different other people. So once the attack is successful, the malicious actor can view, change, or delete sensitive company data, users lists, or private customer details stored in the SQL database. Then we have domain name system attack, which is called as DNS attack. A DNS attack is a type of cyber attack in which cyber criminals take advantage of flaws in the DNS to redirect site users to malicious websites and steal data from affected computers. It is a severe cybersecurity risk because DNS system is an essential element of the internet infrastructure. Then we will discuss about the latest cyber threats. So not always the cyber attacks happen unknowingly. They also happen with user permission by trying to fool them. So such categories can be listed under the cyber threats. So many governments have reported the cyber threats. So those cyber threats can be romance scams. So it was found, the romance scam was found in February 2020. The cyber criminals used this threat through dating sites, chat rooms, and applications. They attack people who are seeking a new partner and duping them into giving away personal data. So these are some types of threats that happen to people with their permission. And Glidex malware. So it's a type of financial Trojan malware identified by the US government in December 2019 that affects the public, government, infrastructure, and business worldwide. It infects computers through phishing emails or existing malware to steal sensitive information such as passwords, banking details, and personal data for fraudulent transactions. The National Cybersecurity Center of the UK encourages people to make sure their devices are patched and antivirus installed and it's up to date, and files are backed up to protect sensitive data against this direct malware attack. Then we have emotet malware. The emotet malware is a type of cyber attack that steals sensitive data and also installs other malware on our device. The Australian Cybersecurity Centre warned national organizations about this global cyber threat in 2019. So some systems can be affected by security breaches and attacks. So what systems can be affected by security breaches and attacks? They can be communication industry, then finance, governments, transportation, healthcare, and education. So communication, the cyber attackers can use phone calls, emails, text messages, and messaging applications for cyber attack. Then the finance system deals with the risk of financial information like bank and credit card details. This information is naturally a primary target for cyber attackers. The governments, the criminal, the cyber criminal generally targets the government institutions to get confidential public data or private citizen information. Then transportation, in the transportation system, cyber criminals generally target connected cars, traffic control systems, and smart road infrastructure. So basically data is in everywhere. Then in the healthcare, a cyber criminal targets the healthcare system to get the information stored at a local clinic to create. So a cyber criminal targets the healthcare system to get the information stored at a local clinic to critical care systems at a national hospital. Then in education, the cyber criminals target educational institutions to get their confidential research data and information of students and employees. So these systems can be used for cyber attacks. Then what are the benefits of cyber security? So there are ultimate benefits of cyber security. So cyber attacks and data breach protection for the business. So if we implement and maintain cyber security, the data and network security both are protected, and unauthorized user access is avoided. After a breach, there is a faster recovery time. End users and endpoint device are protected. Then you can continue with your operations, and developers and partners, consumers, stakeholders, and workers have more faith in the company's reputation and trust. Now we will see cyber safety tips. So let's see how to protect ourselves when any cyber attacks happen. So let's see some safety tips. The first one is to conduct cybersecurity training and awareness. So it happens in every organization. So every organization, if their employees are working from home, they often conduct a training session for their employees and inform them or alert them of how to secure their organization assets. So every organization must train their employees on cybersecurity, company policies, and incident reporting for a strong cybersecurity policy to be successful. If the employees do unintentional or intentional malicious activities, it may fail the best technical safeguards that result in an expensive security breach. Therefore, it is useful to conduct security training and awareness for staff through seminars, classes, and online courses that reduce security violations. So every company will give you a list of softwares that can be used in the office laptops. The second one is update software and operating system. So it's always recommended to keep the software and operating system updated, because the updates will often include some security measures that will help to safeguard our confidential data and information. The most popular safety measure is to update the software and operating system to get the benefit of the latest security patches. Then use antivirus software. So antivirus software is also useful to use the antivirus software that will detect and removes unwanted threats from your device. This software is always updated to get the best level of protection. Then perform periodic security reviews. So again, every organization does this. Every organization ensures periodic security inspections of all software and networks to identify security risks early in a secure environment. Some popular examples of security reviews are application and network penetration testing, source code reviews, architecture design reviews, and red team assessments. In addition, organizations should prioritize and mitigate security vulnerabilities as quickly as possible after they are discovered. So that's the intention why organizations perform periodic security reviews with their employees. Then, when it comes to the users, they need to use strong passwords. So it's recommended to always use long and various combinations of characters and symbols in the password. It makes the password difficult to guess. So passwords can be of different types. You can use a combination of lower case letters, uppercase letters, symbols, numbers, or sometimes some organizations insist to use a phrase as a password, which becomes even more difficult to guess. Then do not open email attachments from known senders. Sometimes the employees may get an email saying that it's directly from their CEO or their boss. So the cyber expert always advise not to open or click the email attachment getting from unverified senders or unfamiliar websites because it could be infected with malware. So there are many ways to check for the genuinity of the email. Is it from the valid source or is it from a invalid source? Then you can avoid using unsecured Wi-Fi networks. So many public Wi-Fi networks will be unsecure. It should also be advised not to use insecure networks because they can leave you vulnerable to man in the middle attacks. Then always back up your data. Every organization must periodically take backup of their data to ensure all sensitive data is not lost or recovered after a security breach. In addition, backups can help maintain data integrity in cyber attack such as SQL injections, phishing, and ransomware. So backing up your data can help you prevent many types of cyber attacks. So in many cyber attacks, you basically lose your data. So if you are proactive, if you always take backup of your data, there are very less chances that you will be exposed to any cyber attack. So this was the discussion about cybersecurity.